Good afternoon, I'm Milton Walker with the Midday News. A special welcome if you're watching on onespotmedia.com. A reminder as well that you can download our One Spot Media app in the Google Play Store or the App Store. That's the number 1, followed by the word Spot and Media. A section of Augustown in St. Andrew remains tense after thugs shot 2 men in the community last night. One of the men succumbed to his injuries. The other man has been hospitalized. The deceased has been identified as 29-year-old construction worker Christopher Hales. He's a resident of Augustown. The incident occurred about 8 o'clock. Both men were standing on the road when they were shot. There is a heavy police presence in Augustown to prevent a further flare-up of violence. Member of Parliament for Eastern St. Andrew, Favour Williams, told TVJ News that the incident is said to be a reprisal for a murder in the community 3 weeks ago. The St. Ann police have named a person of interest in the murder of 54-year-old social worker and attorney Loy Ferguson McCoy. Senior Superintendent in charge of the St. Ann Police Division, Michael Smith, says the police are seeking Anthony Nicholson, otherwise known as Nantony of Fraserwood in Highgate, St. Mary.
We believe that he can help us in our investigation because he was the last person she was seen in his company, and we believe that he'll be able to assist us. So we're just asking him to turn himself in for us to just carry out the investigation. So that's where we are currently. Statement has been collected, and we are moving seriously to resolve this particular incident.
Mr. Nicholson is being asked to report to the St. Ann CIB no later than 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Mrs. Ferguson McCoy was found dead at her house in Hartstone Ridge Estate in Shaw Park, Ocherius on Saturday. The body had a wound to the head. A teenager who was picked up in his community last week by lawmen during the state of emergency in St. James has been charged with murder of a craft vendor in Ironshore, Montego Bay. 33-year-old Koyadan Grant, better known as Rasta of Lapland, Katadupa in the parish, was shot and killed on January 14. The teen is scheduled to appear before the St. James Family Court on Thursday. The Coral Gardens police say that about 3:30 p.m. Mr. Grant was standing along the road when he was pounced upon by someone who opened fire, hitting him. He was pronounced dead at hospital. 26 of the 34 children who were displaced when a fire destroyed the Walker's place of safety on January 15 are back at school. They returned yesterday. The other 8 children are on remand and so are not in an educational institution. State Minister for Youth Floyd Green provided an update this morning.
Some of the children are still struggling with trauma. We had to send in the counseling team to intervene in at least one case, and we continue to provide daily counseling sessions with most of the children, especially the ones that still exhibit signs of severe trauma. So, you know, we're working with them. We've really gotten tremendous support from public and private donors, and we really want to thank them. There are still needs, and we've compiled a comprehensive need list that we will be putting out, and clearly our focus now is to see how we can get as much contribution as possible towards rebuilding the home.
He says up to Monday, the Minister of Local Government had not received the preliminary report on the fire from the Jamaica Fire Brigade. The Jamaica Gasoline Retailers Association, JGRA, is reporting that last Friday's discovery by the police of an illegal petrol trade in Montego Bay is just the tip of the iceberg, as there are other similar operations across the island. TVJ's O'Shane Masters has the details.
7 men were arrested after the security forces seized 20,000 litres of petrol, valued at $2.5 million, during a special operation along Bay Road and Pimento Way. Some of the men were observed with makeshift gas pumps when they were held. JGRA President Philip Chong told our news center that the petroleum trade continues to be plagued by illegal operators.
We've had reports. We're putting our information together in our other areas, areas such as Portland and in St. Ann. We're wondering how come nobody else has seen it.
The persons arrested on Friday will be charged with breaches of the Petroleum Act. In the meantime, the JGRA says it will be helping with the crackdown on illegal gas operations.
Well, we're putting the information as best as we can. We're gathering the information to hand it over to the necessary authority. It's no point us going to them and saying, look, this is happening and we don't have any information to aid in the process of stopping it, you know. So we are putting our information together. We're gathering as much as we can.
Shane Masters, TVJ News.
There's a call for the revival of dormant neighborhood watch programs across the island. The call was made by Assistant Superintendent of Police attached to the Community and Safety Branch, Fitzgerald Linton. He was speaking at the National Neighborhood Watch media briefing in Spanish Town on Saturday. He said that it's time for all persons to address the crime monster which is plaguing the nation. He noted that some stringent measures will be rolled out in the St. Catherine North Division, which has recorded 13 murders since the start of the year.
We are rolling out just about everything that is necessary to ensure that we don't go back to where we were some years gone by. So we are doing that. And I'm saying, as you do your press conference in this division, you too will realize the efforts that we are making. And I want to implore you that as we make the effort, that you now understand that your effort will have to be doubled just the same.
Meanwhile, the island coordinator for the Neighborhood Watch program, Inspector Barrington Brown, says persons need to desist from saying the nation's churches are not doing much to help the crime problem.
Church has done a lot of things over the time. I'm a product of church. What I would like to see church continue to do, right, is for those who worship on Saturday like today. And Sunday, when you leave church, just go back to your community. Find those children who are not attending church. And you find them and get them on your veranda, in the park, under a tree, right? And you teach them what you learned in church during the day. And if you do it for the next 5 years, believe you me, some of the things that the country is experiencing, we will not be seeing them. In your different parishes, we still have Girl Guides and Scouts. Neighborhood watchers, you need to get the youth them back in those programs.
Wage negotiations are set to resume between the police, federation and the government. The federation's central executive has been invited by the finance ministry to another meeting to discuss its wage claims for 2017 to 2019. It will take place on Monday. The invitation follows last Wednesday's meeting with the Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, and the heads of trade unions representing public sector workers. Talks stalled late last year after the federation rejected the government's 6% wage offer over 2 years. The second dose of the human papilloma virus HPV vaccine is set to be administered to grade 7 girls by April of this year. The vaccine, which was first administered to over 5,000 girls in October 2017, is being administered to girls between ages 9 and 14 and is free of cost. The second dose, which is to be administered 6 months after the first dose, will complete the dosage. Vaccination is not mandatory. The $100 million HPV program is being undertaken by the government to protect girls against cervical cancer. Meanwhile, the ministry will be reviving its public education campaign in order to achieve greater take-up of the HPV vaccine. Cervical cancer is the second leading cause of cancer-related mortality in Jamaica and remains a significant public health concern. Current estimates indicate that every year, 392 women are diagnosed with cervical cancer, where 185 die from the disease, with the majority of deaths occurring in women between 40 and 64 years of age. The ministry is aiming to get over 22,000 girls vaccinated. In sports, with the state of emergency in effect across St. James, at least one sporting event has been affected. Sunday's Red Stripe Premier League match between Montego Bay United and Harbourview was postponed due to a lack of security personnel.
The entire parish under security presence, movements across St. James have been limited. It also means that security is limited to do anything outside of tracking criminals. So sporting events, which usually relies on security presence to go ahead, will be heavily affected in many ways. Montego Bay United have already felt the effect.
Yes, we have been affected by the violence in St. James for the longest while. You know, this state of emergency has made it no better. But yes, we have been affected by the series of crimes and now this state of emergency.
According to President of Montego Bay United, Orville Powell, even with adequate security, things will never be the same at the turnstile.
The movements of people in and around St. James that it is affected, so coming to games won't be a priority for people, you know. So revenue stream again, we will be losing a lot of revenue where that is concerned.
But Powell says he understands why there is a need for the state of emergency.
When we look at Montego Bay United as a vehicle that can help in this support and see what kind of support we are also getting, it is sad, you know. So to me, I don't see it even getting any better before it gets worse.
The St. James Leagues are set to kick off this week, but FA President Gregory Daly says the matches should finish in time for fans to get back home safely.
We are not foreseeing any problems now. It's just our responsibility to get the games off on time and to work along with the security forces and their time restraints.
Daly says that they will also avoid using certain fields in the parish.
There are certain areas that we are not venturing into to play games, and it's unadvised from the securities. We understand that they are stretched. They are stretched at this time, and we don't want to put anyone at risk. We are using the places that are we see as more secured and easier to be secured.
Montego Bay United next home game could be a rescheduled one against Waterhouse on Thursday. Renata Brown.
And that's the midday news. I'm Milton Walker. Join us at 7 for primetime news on behalf of the news, sports and production teams. Good afternoon.